Alex had always liked the quiet of his station. Orbiting the remote planet of Virel, the research station was isolated, surrounded by the endless black of space. Only the hum of the life support systems and the occasional ping of distant signals broke the silence. For years, he had studied the strange signals that came from the planet below, signals that no one on Earth could fully explain. He liked it that way. Here, there were no crowds, no distractions, just him and his work. He was sitting at his desk, examining a stream of data from the planet's surface. Something had caught his attention, an unusual energy fluctuation. He leaned closer, eyes narrowing. It was faint, almost impossible to notice, but to Alex, it stood out like a flare. He typed rapidly, running simulations and trying to understand the anomaly. The station creaked slightly as it adjusted to the planet's minor gravitational pull. Alex didn't notice. He was too focused on the screens, the calculations, the blinking lights that told him something extraordinary was happening below. Suddenly, a soft click echoed from the door. It was subtle, almost masked by the hum of the station. Alex froze. Visitors were rare in this sector. Extremely rare. Before he could react, the door slid open with a gentle hiss. A figure appeared in the threshold. Alex blinked, uncertain. She was tall, with flowing hair that shimmered under the station's dim lights. Her skin had a faint golden hue, and her eyes glimmered with an intensity he had never seen in any human. He realized immediately she was not human. Who are you?" he asked, his voice cautious. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped inside with quiet confidence, moving like she belonged. Her presence filled the room in a way that made it feel smaller, warmer, and at the same time, heavier with significance. She didn't speak, but Alex sensed her attention was entirely on him, studying him just as he had been studying the signals. "You can't just enter a station without permission," Alex said. Trying to keep his voice firm, she tilted her head slightly, a gesture almost like curiosity, but not disrespect. Her movements were deliberate and smooth, unhurried. Alex felt a strange tension, a sense that everything was about to change. "My ship. It was damaged," she said finally, her voice soft but clear. "I need shelter." Alex's mind raced. He had seen ships fail before, but this one didn't look like any design he recognized. It wasn't human, or even from any species cataloged in Earth's databases. His heart beat faster, not with fear, but with the excitement that came with discovering something truly unknown. He took a step back. "You can stay, but only temporarily. I need to know who you are and what your intentions are." She gave a small nod, almost imperceptible, and moved further into the room. Alex noticed that her eyes were observing everything: the equipment, the screens, the stacks of research notes. It was as if she could absorb all the information at once. "I am Lyra," she said. "I mean no harm. My people sent me to explore the outer systems. I was not prepared for the damage." Alex ran a hand through his hair. "Outer systems? You mean beyond the border of known space?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. I followed a path that led me here." The tension in the room was strange. It was not fear or anger, it was anticipation. Alex felt that his life, which had been so quiet, was about to change. He had always imagined discovering an alien life form, but he had not expected it to appear inside his room. So suddenly and calmly, "Sit," Alex said finally, pointing to a chair. "I need to understand more about you before I decide anything else." Lyra moved to sit beside him, not hesitating. Her presence was commanding, yet calm. Alex noticed she radiated a sense of trustworthiness, even if he didn't fully understand it. She didn't need to speak to hold attention. For a while, they sat in silence. The only sounds were the soft hum of the station and the faint clicking of the instruments on his desk. Then Alex asked, "How did you survive the crash? Your ship? It looked badly damaged from what I saw outside." "I'm trained," Lyra said simply. "My species has methods of survival that allow us to endure harsh conditions. I could repair my ship eventually, but I needed a safe place first." Alex nodded slowly. He could see that she wasn't lying. There was honesty in the way she carried herself. "All right. We'll make a temporary arrangement. You stay here until your ship is repaired. But I need you to follow my rules. No wandering off. No touching anything without permission." Lyra gave a small, almost amused smile. Understood. The next few hours passed quietly. Alex returned to his work, while Lyra observed. She did not interfere, but watched intently, occasionally tilting her head as if trying to understand the patterns of his research. Alex was fascinated. She seemed to understand some of the complex systems instinctively, nodding when he explained theories or data points. "What exactly is this research?" she asked finally. Her voice carried genuine curiosity. Alex explained, detailing the energy fluctuations on Virel and the unusual life forms that had begun emitting signals into space. Lyra listened quietly, her eyes glimmering. "Your species is remarkable," she said. "You see patterns, and you understand them in ways that many do not. This is why I came here. I wanted to see such intelligence firsthand." Alex felt a rush of pride, but also a sense of humility. No alien had ever complimented human understanding so directly. We humans try. We adapt. Sometimes that is enough."
Iris.
Gaze softened. "It is more than enough. It is rare." Sudden alert from the station's sensors made both of them turn. A small asteroid had entered a nearby orbit, close enough to affect the station if they were not careful. Alex quickly began calculations to adjust the station's position, while Lyra observed. "You can do it faster if you combine our methods," she said, gesturing at the controls in a way that showed an intuitive understanding of the system. Alex hesitated. "Combine. Methods." Lyra leaned closer, pointing to the controls. She demonstrated a series of adjustments that incorporated both his human calculations and her alien interface technique. Within moments, the station's orbit stabilized, avoiding danger. Alex stared at her. "I don't know how you did that." Lyra smiled slightly. "Experience and observation. I learned quickly. You taught me something as well. Your methods are efficient." For the first time since her arrival, Alex felt a sense of relief, mixed with awe. This was no ordinary visitor. She was intelligent, capable, and unexpectedly complementary to his skills. That night, after ensuring the station was secure, Alex looked over at Lyra. She had taken a place on the small couch beside him, sitting calmly, almost as if she belonged there. He realized that her presence was not just about survival, it was about connection. Somehow she had entered his life without permission, without warning, and already felt like a part of his world. Alex leaned back, trying to process everything. In the vastness of space, he had expected loneliness, danger, and silence. Instead, he had found someone or something whose presence challenged him, fascinated him, and in a strange way made him feel less alone. Lyra looked at him, her expression unreadable, but her eyes conveyed understanding. "Rest now," she said softly. "Tomorrow, we have much to do." Alex nodded. He didn't fully understand what lay ahead, but one thing was certain. His life on Virel had changed forever. And as he drifted into sleep, he knew that whatever challenges awaited, he would face them with this remarkable visitor by his side. The stars outside the window shimmered quietly, indifferent yet witness to the beginning of a bond that could change both human and alien understanding of life, intelligence, and the power of cooperation. The morning light on Virel was pale and soft, filtered through the station's reinforced windows. Alex sat at his desk, sipping the bitter coffee that had become a ritual in the lonely hours before dawn. He glanced at the monitors. The data from the planet below continued to stream in, mysterious and chaotic, yet tantalizingly ordered. Every signal hinted at life or something close to it, and Alex's curiosity had never felt sharper. Lyra was already awake. She sat on the couch nearby, her posture perfect, eyes following his every movement. Alex had grown used to her presence, yet it still carried the weight of the unknown. She didn't speak much, but somehow her quiet observance was comforting rather than threatening. "You slept well?" he asked, though he already knew she didn't need rest like humans did. Yes, she said simply. Her voice was soft, but there was authority in it. I do not tire easily, but I can rest when I must. Alex nodded. He noticed the subtle ways she interacted with the station, not touching anything she didn't have to, yet understanding its functions instinctively. There was a rhythm to her movements, a logic that made him think she was observing, learning, adapting. Humans were quick learners, yes, but Lyra seemed to go beyond that. Are you studying me? He asked, half in jest, half in curiosity. Lyra's eyes met his, steady and unwavering. In a way, I study everything I encounter. Observation is part of understanding. Understanding is part of survival. Alex leaned back in his chair, considering her words. Survival. That was what she cared about first. But the way she watched him, the way she seemed to notice the smallest detail, it was almost as if she was searching for something deeper connection, perhaps, or comprehension of the human mind. For the next hour, they worked together. Alex explained the data from Virel, the strange energy fluctuations, the unusual life forms that had begun emitting signals into space. Lyra listened, occasionally tilting her head, a gesture that suggested she was forming patterns in her mind. Then, when Alex showed her a complex interface he had built to map the signals, she reached out and touched the controls with a grace that made the system respond in ways Alex had not expected. You see patterns in ways your species does not, she said. But your methods? They are elegant. I can work with them. Alex blinked. Work with them? Yes. Together, we can analyze the signals faster. More accurately, he hesitated, then nodded. All right. Show me. Lyra leaned closer, her fingers moving lightly over the controls. She didn't type commands like a human would. She seemed to communicate with the interface directly, almost like the machine obeyed her thoughts. Alex watched, fascinated, as the system responded instantly, highlighting anomalies he hadn't noticed before. This is incredible, he murmured. I've been working on this for months, and I never saw it like this. She looked at him, her expression calm. Sometimes a different perspective is all it takes. For the rest of the morning, they continued like this. Alex ran simulations. Lyra suggested adjustments, and together, they uncovered patterns that neither could have seen alone. Every now and then, she would tilt her head or gesture subtly, guiding him without words. Alex began to realize that her intelligence wasn't just alien, it was complementary. Her way of seeing the universe enhanced his, and vice versa. By midday, Alex felt a sense of ease he hadn't known in years. The isolation of the station, the endless black of space, it no longer felt empty. Lyra's presence was a quiet but undeniable force, filling the room with something he couldn't name. It was not friendship, at least, not yet, but it was something close. A shared purpose. Why did your species send you here? Alex asked during a brief break, leaning back in his chair and stretching. Lyra's gaze drifted to the window, where the pale planet rotated slowly below them. To observe. To understand other intelligent life? Humans are unusual. Your potential is remarkable, though untested. Alex laughed softly. Unusual? I suppose we are. But remarkable? Yes, she said. Your creativity, your courage, your ability to adapt. These qualities, they are rare in the galaxy. He felt a strange warmth at her words, though he reminded himself to stay grounded. She was an alien, a visitor whose presence was still unexplained. Yet the recognition she gave him, it mattered more than he expected. Their quiet conversation was interrupted by an alert. The sensors had detected movement near the planet's surface, something small but fast. Alex leaned over the console, eyes scanning the data. Rovers? He asked, though the readings didn't match anything he had deployed. No, Lyra said immediately. Not machines. Life. Possibly intelligent. Alex's heart skipped. The planet had life, yes, but signals indicating intelligence were rare. This could be a first. Can we track it? Lyra moved to the console, her movements precise and assured. Yes, but we must be careful. Observation without interference is necessary. Together, they adjusted the sensors, focusing on the anomaly. The signals were subtle, almost like whispers in a storm of energy. Yet with their combined effort, they could follow the movement of small creatures, possibly intelligent, across the planet's surface. "This is amazing," Alex said. "I never expected to see anything like this." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "That is why I came. To witness your species' ability to adapt and discover, to see how you respond to the unknown." Hours passed, and the anomaly continued to fascinate them. Alex guided the data streams, interpreting the readings, while Lyra suggested new methods of tracking and analysis. They formed a rhythm, an unspoken cooperation, that made the station feel alive in a way it never had before. By evening, Alex felt a rare exhaustion, but it was accompanied by excitement. They had discovered more in a single day than he had in months alone. Lyra seemed equally satisfied, though her expression remained calm, almost serene. "Tomorrow, we can attempt something more. Closer observation, perhaps? We may learn even more about this planet and its inhabitants." Alex nodded, impressed by her focus. "Yes. But for now, dinner." He gestured toward the small kitchen area. Lyra accepted, moving with her usual grace. As they ate, the conversation became lighter. Alex told her stories of Earth, of human culture, and even simple things like favorite foods and routines. Lyra listened, occasionally asking questions that were both simple and profound. "I find your species fascinating," she said. "So much potential, yet so fragile. So creative, yet often unaware of your own abilities." Alex smiled. "I suppose that's what makes us human. We survive, we create, we adapt. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't." Lyra's expression softened, almost imperceptibly. "You are stronger than you realize. Already you have adapted to circumstances that would overwhelm many of your kind. Alone, in this station, facing the unknown, you persist." Alex felt a warmth he hadn't expected. Her words were not flattery. They were observation, recognition, and understanding. For the first time in years, he felt seen, not just as a human, but as an individual. Night fell over Varel, the stars outside the windows glimmering like distant fires. Alex returned to his desk, and Lyra took her place on the couch, as if claiming her spot beside him without asking. It was strange, yet comforting. The station no longer felt empty. Her presence, quiet and steady, had filled the space with energy and purpose. As Alex reviewed the day's data, he realized something important. Lyra was not just a visitor or a survivor. She was a partner. Not in the human sense, not yet, but in a way that transcended language or species. Together, they had done more, understood more, and survived more than either could alone. He glanced at her and saw that she was watching him, her eyes reflecting the light of the monitors. There was trust there, and a subtle curiosity. Perhaps he thought the universe had not sent her here randomly. Perhaps he had been chosen not just for his intelligence, but for his ability to see, to adapt, and to connect. For the first time in a long while, Alex felt hopeful. The vastness of space, once so isolating, now seemed full of possibilities. With Lyra by his side, the unknown no longer seemed entirely threatening. Together, they could face whatever mysteries Viral and the galaxy had in store, and as the station hummed quietly around them, Alex understood something simple and profound, even in the darkest corners of space. Connection human and alien could light a way forward. The next morning, the station was alive with activity. Alex moved quickly between consoles, checking data streams and recalibrating sensors. Lyra stood nearby, her eyes scanning the screens as if she could see patterns hidden from human perception. Her presence had become a natural part of the station, her quiet focus complementing Alex's rapid energy. "The energy fluctuations have increased," Alex said, pointing to the screen. "Something is changing on the planet's surface. Look at these readings, they're not random." Lyra leaned closer, her golden eyes reflecting the pale glow of the monitors. "I see it. There is intelligence here. Life forms that are organized, moving with purpose. They are aware of their surroundings." Alex nodded. and they're responding to the planet's energy shifts. I've never seen anything like it. Lyra studied the data silently for a few moments. Then, with a small motion of her hand, the interface reacted. She didn't press buttons or type commands. The system seemed to obey her thoughts, highlighting patterns that Alex would have missed entirely. "You're incredible," Alex said, leaning back in awe. "You can interface with this system as if it understands your mind." "It is not understanding." "Exactly," she said softly. "It is compatibility. Certain technology responds to my species' neural signals. But even I learned from your methods. Your human approach is adaptive, creative. It balances my precision." Alex felt a thrill of excitement. Working with her, they could analyze and understand the planet's signals far faster than he could alone. He realized that her presence was more than helpful, it was transformative. As they continued, a sudden alert drew their attention. The station's sensors had detected movement near the outer perimeter. Alex's heart raced. It was not unusual for minor meteorites or small debris to pass by, but this reading was different. It was moving with purpose, directed intelligence. "What is it?" Alex asked, scanning the data. Lyra's gaze was steady. "Something is approaching the station, possibly hostile. We must prepare, but cautiously. Observation first." Alex quickly began securing the station's outer doors and activating defensive systems. Lyra moved beside him, guiding him with subtle gestures, showing him where to focus, how to anticipate the movement of the approaching object. Together, they made adjustments in record time. Minutes later, the scanner revealed the intruders, a small group of alien scavengers. They were opportunistic explorers, attracted to advanced technology, and unafraid to use force to acquire it. Alex's mind raced. Alone, he might have been able to defend the station for a while, but the scavengers were efficient, fast, and determined. With Lyra's help, they had a chance. "They will attempt to breach the outer hull," Lyra said calmly. "Your weapons can deter them temporarily, but strategy is necessary." Alex nodded. "Then we plan. Together." For the next hour, they coordinated a defense. Alex improvised traps, using the station's systems, redirecting energy flows to create barriers. Lyra enhanced the station's sensors, anticipating every move the scavengers made. Alex marveled at how seamlessly their approaches blended human creativity meeting alien precision. When the scavengers arrived, the station was ready. Energy pulses repelled them. Automated defenses triggered alarms. Alex, working with Lyra, adjusted systems on the fly to counter unexpected movements. Each time the intruders tried to breach a door or vent, the station responded in ways only possible because of their combined effort. The intruders retreated after realizing the station was defended far more effectively than anticipated. Alex exhaled, feeling the tension drain from his body. He looked at Lyra, who remained calm, her eyes observing every remaining fluctuation in the sensors. "You were amazing," Alex said. I don't know if we could have survived that without you." Lyra shook her head slightly. "No, we survived because we worked together. Your human intuition guided my responses, just as my capabilities enhanced yours. Alone, either of us would have struggled. Together, we adapt and overcome." Alex realized that she was right. This was more than survival, it was partnership. He had never experienced anything like it before. And in a strange way, he felt proud, not just of himself, but of humanity's ability to meet the unknown and rise to the challenge. After the attack, the station was quiet again. Alex began assessing the damage while Lyra helped identify structural weaknesses and system vulnerabilities. It was a tedious process but necessary. Working side by side, they moved with an unspoken rhythm. He realized that she didn't just survive, she enhanced him, proved his understanding of the station, and pushed him to think faster, act smarter. "Why are you really here?" Alex asked cautiously, taking a brief break from repairs. "You said you were observing. But it feels more like you're testing me." Lyra's golden eyes softened. "Perhaps. Not testing exactly, evaluating. Your species is unique. Humans have qualities that are rare: creativity, courage, resilience. You respond to the unknown in ways that many others do not. You inspire confidence. That is why I came here. To witness it firsthand. Alex was quiet, absorbing her words. He had never been called inspiring by anyone, not by humans, not by anyone. And yet here she was, an alien being, recognizing his strengths. He felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. As night fell over Varel, Alex and Lyra continued their work. They repaired damaged systems, reinforced the station, and strengthened the sensors. Every task was an opportunity to learn from each other. Alex taught her human improvisation techniques, while she demonstrated alien interfacing methods. By the end of the night, the station was stronger than before, and Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment. During a rare moment of rest, Alex sat beside Lyra. She had taken her usual place on the couch, her posture calm, her eyes reflecting the faint light of the screens. "You are? Not like anyone I have met," he said softly. "And you are not like anyone I have encountered," she replied. "That is why we work well together. You see possibilities where others see obstacles. You adapt when most would fail. You persist." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. Her words were not flattery. They were observation, recognition, understanding. For the first time, he felt truly seen, not as a human, not as a researcher, but as an individual capable of remarkable things. The bond between them was growing stronger, though it was still quiet and subtle. Words were few, but understanding was deep. He realized that the presence of an alien being intelligent, capable, and aware had changed everything. The loneliness he had felt in the station, the isolation of space, it no longer seemed insurmountable. "Tomorrow," Lyra said, her voice calm but firm, "we must attempt closer observation of the life on the planet. There are patterns we cannot yet understand from here. We may find intelligence that communicates in ways we have never imagined." Alex nodded. "And we'll do it together." "I trust you." Lyra's eyes softened. "As I trust you. Together, we will learn, survive, and adapt. That is the purpose of our cooperation." They sat in silence for a few minutes, watching the planet below. The stars outside seemed endless, yet Alex no longer felt overwhelmed by their vastness. With Lyra by his side, he felt capable of facing the unknown. He realized something profound. Humans, with their courage and adaptability, had strengths that even advanced alien species could recognize and respect. For the first time, Alex felt a sense of partnership that transcended species, a connection built on mutual respect, trust, and the shared thrill of discovery. Lyra's presence was no longer just about survival. She had become a companion, a guide, and an ally in the exploration of the unknown. And as the station hummed quietly around them, Alex understood that their bond was only the beginning. The planet below still held mysteries, dangers, and surprises. But together, human and alien, they could face whatever came next. They could adapt, survive, perhaps even thrive in a universe that often seemed indifferent to life. For the first time in his life, Alex felt the true potential of humanity, not just for survival, but for partnership, understanding, and the courage to explore beyond the limits of the known. And he knew that with Lyra beside him, the next steps of discovery would be both dangerous and extraordinary. The day began with an unusual tension in the air. The station's sensors were picking up subtle changes on Varel's surface, small energy pulses that were stronger than before. Alex frowned at the console, rubbing his tired eyes. He had been working almost non-stop for the past 2 days, analyzing signals, repairing the station, coordinating with Lyra. Yet despite the fatigue, he felt a surge of anticipation. Something was about to happen. Lyra stood beside him, her posture calm, her eyes scanning the readings. "The life forms we observed are increasing their activity," she said softly. "They are adapting. They may have noticed our presence." Alex's heart skipped a beat. "Not just life forms?" he asked cautiously. "Intelligent ones?" Lyra nodded. "Possibly. We must proceed carefully." Observation alone may not be enough. You will need to react quickly if they interfere. Alex swallowed hard. He had faced challenges before, even dangerous situations, but nothing had prepared him for what he sensed approaching. And yet he felt a strange confidence. Lyra's presence beside him was steadying, her calm precision complementing his own human intuition. Hours passed as they monitored the signals. Small anomalies began appearing, moving faster than anything they had tracked before. Alex adjusted the sensors, while Lyra interfaced directly with the systems, predicting the movements and suggesting strategies to counter potential disruptions. Suddenly, the station shook violently. Alarms blared as a massive energy surge hit the outer perimeter. Alex's heart raced. He ran to the console, frantically typing commands to stabilize the station. "They're testing us," Lyra said calmly, her voice firm. "Do not panic. Follow my lead." Alex nodded, taking a deep breath. Right. Together. The outer sensors revealed the source. A group of scavengers, larger and more aggressive than before, were approaching the station. Drawn by the energy readings and the signals emitted from the sensors, they were more numerous, coordinated, and clearly intelligent. This time, it would not be easy to repel them. "We cannot let them breach the hull," Alex said, his voice tense but determined. "We have to defend the station." Lyra moved to the tactical console. "Use your ingenuity. I will enhance the defenses. Human creativity combined with precision will give us an advantage." Alex worked quickly, improvising solutions. He rerouted energy from the station's research equipment to power defensive barriers, creating temporary shields at key points. Lyra monitored the sensors, anticipating the scavengers' movements and advising adjustments in real time. As the invaders advanced, Alex realized the true value of their partnership. Alone, he could never have managed the systems fast enough. Lyra's abilities allowed him to act strategically, responding to threats before they became critical. The scavengers attempted to breach one of the outer doors, but energy pulses repelled them. Alex smiled briefly. "That's one for us." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Do not underestimate them. They will test another point. We must remain vigilant." The next hour was a blur of action. Alex's improvisation and Lyra's predictive guidance kept the station secure. They worked seamlessly, responding to each new threat with precision and creativity. Every time the scavengers adjusted their tactics, Alex countered with ingenuity, while Lyra anticipated the next move, enhancing defenses and providing strategic advice. Finally, the scavengers retreated, realizing the station was too well defended. Alex slumped in his chair, exhausted but exhilarated. He glanced at Lyra, who remained calm, her eyes observing every remaining fluctuation in the sensors. "We did it," Alex said, finally allowing himself a smile. "I didn't think we could." Lyra's expression softened. "We survived because we adapted. You have courage, and your resourcefulness complements my abilities. Alone, either of us would have struggled. Together, we thrive." Alex felt a rush of pride not just in himself, but in humanity. Here he was, a human, surviving and even outmaneuvering a more advanced alien threat by combining his creativity with Lyra's precision. For the first time, he truly understood the meaning of HFY, the power of human ingenuity and courage. With the immediate danger over, they began repairing the station. The outer hull had minor damage, and several systems needed recalibration. Alex worked alongside Lyra, learning from her methods while applying his own human intuition. It was a rare moment of calm amidst chaos, a time to rebuild and prepare for future challenges. As evening fell, Alex sat beside Lyra, exhausted but satisfied. "You know," he said quietly, "I never imagined I'd survive something like this. And yet, here we are." Lyra's eyes reflected the soft glow of the monitors. "You adapted. You persisted. That is what sets humans apart. You face the unknown with courage, with creativity, and with a willingness to act." Alex smiled faintly. "I guess I'm learning from you too. Your calm, your understanding, it keeps me focused." "You have strength beyond what you realize," Lyra replied. Your species has qualities that inspire even those who come from worlds far more advanced than yours." For a while, they sat in silence, letting the hum of the station and the distant stars outside remind them that they were still alive, still capable, still learning. Alex realized something profound. Their bond was more than survival. It was partnership, respect, and mutual understanding. Humans and Lyra species were different, yet together they formed a combination neither could achieve alone. The night passed quietly, but sleep did not come easily. Alex kept thinking about the planet below and the intelligent life they had been tracking. He knew that more challenges awaited. If scavengers could locate the station, others surely would too. And the life forms on Virel. They were becoming more aware, more capable, perhaps more dangerous. The following morning, Alex awoke to Lyra, already at the tactical console. She had been monitoring the planet through the night, noting subtle changes in the signals. "They are evolving," she said softly. "Their responses are faster. They may be aware of our observation. We must proceed carefully." Alex nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and tension. "Then let's observe. Together." We spent the day monitoring the planet, noting small but deliberate patterns in the movement of the life forms. Alex adjusted sensors while Lyra enhanced their precision. Every anomaly, every unexpected signal became a clue. Slowly, they began to map the intelligent behaviors of the creatures below, predicting movements, understanding their energy patterns, and even anticipating potential interactions with the station. "You are teaching me much," Alex said during a brief pause. "Not just about the station, but about strategy, observation, how to think differently." Lyra tilted her head slightly. "And you teach me about creativity, improvisation, and human persistence. Your species adapts in ways that machines or even my kind cannot fully emulate. That is why I remain here with you. We complement one another." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. Her words were not merely observation. They were acknowledgement of his value, of humanity's potential, and of the trust they had built together. That evening, as they prepared for another night of observation, a faint vibration ran through the station. A warning light blinked softly on the console. Alex tensed. "What now?" he asked. Lyra moved quickly to the sensors. "It is not hostile, but something approaches the station. Larger. Closer. We must act." Alex felt a familiar surge of adrenaline. He looked at Lyra and nodded. "Then we face it. Together." The station hummed around them, systems alive with energy, defenses ready, the bond between human and alien stronger than ever. Outside, the dark expanse of space was indifferent. But inside, ingenuity, courage, and partnership had created a force capable of meeting any challenge. Alex knew this was only the beginning. The planet, the scavengers, and the unknown intelligence below of it would test them further. But he also knew this. With Lyra by his side, humans had a place in the galaxy, capable of facing even the most daunting dangers with creativity, courage, and determination. And as the stars shimmered outside the reinforced windows, Alex realized something simple yet profound. Survival was not just about enduring, it was about understanding, adapting, and thriving. And together, they would do all three. The station's sensors were alive with activity as dawn broke over Virel. Alex sat at his console, eyes scanning data streams that flickered across the monitors like starlight in motion. The planet below had become increasingly active. The energy fluctuations were stronger than ever, and the intelligent life forms were moving with purpose. Lyra stood beside him, her gaze steady, her presence calm yet commanding. "They have noticed us," she said softly. "The creatures below, they understand our observation. Their intelligence is evolving faster than we predicted." Alex leaned forward, absorbing the readings. "Then we have to be smarter, faster. We can't just watch. We need to anticipate," Lyra nodded. "Exactly. Observation alone will not be enough. We must predict, adapt, and respond. Together." For hours, they worked side by side, blending human ingenuity with alien precision. Alex adjusted the sensors and energy streams, while Lyra interfaced directly with the station's systems, predicting movements, highlighting anomalies, and guiding him in real time. Their cooperation had become seamless. Where one faltered, the other compensated, and vice versa. Suddenly, an alert flashed on the main console. A massive energy surge was heading toward the station, far larger than any fluctuation they had observed before. Alex's heart raced. He realized immediately that the surge was not natural. It was a deliberate attempt by the life forms below to interact or perhaps attack the station. "They're testing us," Lyra said calmly. "They want to know our limits. We must respond carefully." Alex nodded. "Then we respond together." The surge hit moments later, sending ripples through the station's hull. Alarms blared, warning lights flashed, and energy readings spiked dangerously. Alex dove into the controls, rerouting power to reinforce shields and stabilize critical systems. Lyra guided him, her calm voice cutting through the chaos. "Redirect power to the secondary grids. Anticipate their counter-movement. They will test the weakest points first," she instructed. Alex followed her advice, fingers flying over the console. The station shuddered under the pressure, but their combined efforts held it together. The creatures below moved with astonishing coordination. And Alex realized they were not merely attacking, they were communicating, testing, learning. "They're intelligent beyond our initial estimates," Alex said, awestruck. "They're almost like us," Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Exactly. They observe, adapt, and respond. That is why our cooperation is essential. Alone we would fail. Together, we can succeed." Ours passed in a tense blur. The station was battered but holding. Alex improvised energy pulses and defensive patterns, while Lyra predicted movements and enhanced the station's response. Slowly, they began to turn the tide. The creatures below started to retreat from areas where their attempts were consistently countered, revealing a pattern of learning and adaptation that mirrored Alex's own problem-solving. Finally, the energy surge subsided. The station's systems stabilized, and the planet below seemed calm again. Alex leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. He looked at Lyra, who remained composed, her eyes reflecting the monitor's soft glow. "We did it," he said, voice hoarse. "We survived. We triumphed." Lyra's expression softened slightly. "Yes, we adapted. We learned, and most importantly, we understood one another. Your species, humans, you have qualities that even I did not fully anticipate. Creativity, resilience, courage. You inspire adaptation, not just in technology, but in life itself." Alex felt a swell of pride. He realized that the triumph was not just about defending the station. It was about proving the strength of human ingenuity and partnership. Against the unknown, against a challenge far beyond what he had faced before. Humans could adapt, innovate, and succeed. As the immediate danger faded, Alex and Lyra began to analyze the data from the planet. Slowly, patterns emerge, energy signatures, movements, and responses that suggested the life forms were highly intelligent, capable of learning, and possibly attempting communication. "Do you think they understand us?" Alex asked, curiosity and wonder in his voice. Lyra tilted her head. "Yes, partially. They recognize observation and adaptation. They learn from what they encounter. Perhaps in time, they will understand fully. That is why we must continue our work carefully and patiently." Alex nodded. He realized that this was only the beginning of a new chapter, not just for him, but for humanity's understanding of the galaxy. With Lyra's guidance and partnership, he could explore unknown life forms, learn from them, and perhaps even communicate with them. Evening fell over the station, and for the first time in days, there was a moment of quiet. Alex and Lyra sat together, watching the planet rotate slowly below. The stars outside shimmered, indifferent yet beautiful, while inside the station. Cooperation and understanding had created a small world of its own. "You know," Alex said quietly, "I never imagined I'd face something like this. Life forms more intelligent than I expected. Attacks. survival. And yet, I feel like we've grown stronger through it all. Lyra's eyes reflected a faint smile. Strength comes from adaptation, from partnership, and from courage. You have all three. That is why we succeeded. That is why humanity matters in the galaxy. Your species persists where others may fail. Alex felt a warmth in his chest. It was more than pride. It was a sense of purpose. For the first time, he understood what it meant to be human in a universe full of unknowns, not merely surviving, but thriving through ingenuity, courage, and cooperation as the night deepened. Alex and Lyra reviewed their findings, planning their next steps carefully. The intelligent life on Virel had not been defeated. It had been understood, respected, and observed. Their signals suggested curiosity, learning, and perhaps even a desire to communicate. Alex realized that the potential for friendship, discovery, and knowledge was greater than he had ever imagined. Lyra's presence beside him was steady, reassuring, and inspiring. She was no longer just a visitor or a survivor. She had become a partner, a teacher, and a witness to humanity's strengths. Together, they had faced danger, survived, discovered truths that neither could have achieved alone. As dawn approached, Alex looked out the window at the slowly brightening planet. "We've done something incredible," he said softly. "Not just surviving, but understanding, communicating, adapting." Lyra's gaze was steady. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast, filled with unknowns. But humans, you have the courage and ingenuity to face it. Together, we can explore, learn, and grow. We can survive and thrive where others would falter." Alex smiled faintly, feeling a sense of accomplishment that went beyond personal pride. It was a recognition of humanity itself, resilient, intelligent, and capable of extraordinary feats. The station hummed quietly around them. Systems fully restored, sensors recalibrated, and the planet below alive with subtle energy patterns. Alex realized that for the first time in his life, he felt truly connected to Lyra, to the station, to the planet, and to the universe itself. And as the stars outside glimmered endlessly, he understood something simple yet profound. Humans were not just survivors. They were explorers, thinkers, innovators, partners in a universe that demanded courage, adaptability, and understanding. Lyra looked at him, her expression calm but filled with acknowledgement. "You have proven your worth, Alex. Humanity has proven its worth. And together, we will continue to face the unknown." Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction and hope. Yes, together. Outside, the galaxy stretched endlessly, filled with mysteries, challenges, and life yet to be understood. Inside the station, two beings, human and aliens, sat side by side, ready for whatever came next. And in that moment, Alex knew that humanity's place in the cosmos was secured not because of weapons or technology alone, but because of courage, creativity, and the power of working together. The adventure on Virel had tested them, challenged them, and changed them. And as the first light of a new day bathed the station in pale gold, Alex felt a quiet certainty. Humanity could not only survive the unknown, could thrive in it. With Lyra at his side, he was ready to face the future, whatever it might hold. Together, they would explore, learn, and adapt. Together, they had triumphed.